Welcome to If You Even Care. Thank you for being here. Here's what I'm thinking we're going to do today, because I have some things to say. People with a podcast be like, I have some things to say. I'm thinking I'll say them, okay? I'll be saying things, and then you can listen to them as much of it as you want to. Doesn't have to be the whole thing. You know, some people have a part in a podcast where they always kind of just check out. For me, if it's an hour long, at like the 35-minute mark, I might save the rest for later. Save it as a little treat. But you can listen to it if you want to. You can listen to as much of it as you want to. But I'll be talking. I'll be having things to say. So that's how this is going to go down. We do things a little differently here. First of all, went to go see Pinkpantheress this past weekend. That was so fun. She puts on a really fun show. What was almost just as fun for me, you know, no shade, was watching the two guys that were sat in front of us. So I had a very clear view of their phones the whole time. These two guys who you would assume are friends. They don't talk to each other at all. In fact, it's just the two of them. We're all in like the end of our rows, and they end up having a seat that they're able to move over to be at the very end of the row. So just so that he can man spread, guy on the left moves over to that seat. So they don't talk. They don't want to be too close to one another because, you know, whatever that might imply about them. And they're not going to even enjoy the music together. So very interesting to watch. Definitely exuding evil. Feeling a little bit performative. Why are you here? You're in my dojo. I'm so close to going backstage and being like, Pink, are you aware? Pink, do you know who's out there? Do you know who's out there? Fake fans. Fake fans. I could tell the moment we sat down behind these guys, I could already tell. Well, actually, they sat down in front of us. So I got to watch the whole thing from start to finish. Very exciting for me. It's not every day you get to watch how men use their phones. Just in HD, right there. How could I not? How could I not? Who would resist? I could see what was on their phones clearer than I could see what was on my own phone. And they were glowing a little bit. They were calling to me, and I really could not help myself. So guy on the right, significantly more evil than guy on the left, I would say. Guy on the left still has an evil aura to him, but guy on the right, the way he used his Instagram, I've never seen it before. And some of you might be like, well, this is how I use my Instagram. For me, if I view your story, it was a choice. I don't view a story by accident. I am very intentional about whose story I look at. Some people are just swipers. They go through and they divvy it out. They bring it up for the whole class. I don't. If I'm looking at your story and I only look at, I'm hardly ever on Instagram in the first place. I'm only looking at a handful. That's all I have the time and patience and space for. That's all I have space for right now. Actually, always and forever. I've always been like that. It's a choice. I saw your story because I wanted to. This guy, and my friends do this too, where they go through and they just watch every single one. I think a lot of people use the app like that, you know, like how it's intended to be used. So, but not at this speed. Not at the speed where I know he is not taking in a single fucking thing he's seeing. Not at all. Until he gets to a video of a girl who's shaking her ass like on her friend's lap. That gives him pause. He takes a minute with it, and then he taps his friend on the shoulder. He really has to reach because they've put a lot of space between one another now, you know, so that guy on the left can spread his knees. In fact, the closeness seems to make him, guy on the left, a little bit uncomfortable, where he kind of like, you know, moves away first before responding to him and looking at what he's trying to show him. Almost like, you know, well, let's not be careful, because what if your knee grazes my knee? Because then what? What does that mean? So he nudges his friend so that he could show him the video of the two girls, like the girl shaking ass on her friend. And he gives a little bit of like, oh, yeah. And then guy on the right goes, yeah. And then it goes back to scrolling at a speed that, like, the fact that he caught that, that's just a porn trained mind for him to have even seen that. Because I was watching the entire time. I'm looming over him. I didn't even catch that. We're both looking at the same feed and I didn't catch what he was looking at. And he paused. He knew. He saw flesh tone and he stopped. So he's got that down to a science. And the entire show, he's messaging with a girl who he doesn't know is curving him, but I do. Because again, we're in this together. We are sharing the same phone at this time. And she just keeps sending him like everything. Their conversation, dry as fuck. Driest thing I've ever read. A very, what you doing? Not much. How about you? Like, ass conversation. But he's trying to set something up with this girl. He wants to fuck. And she just keeps hitting him with those hamster reaction pictures that like you see in TikTok comments all the time. Like sticker after sticker after sticker. And it's all the ones of the hamster like kind of being like cockeyed and like making stupid faces. Curving him so hard. Like I'm actually starting to get like a little bit sad. I'm starting to feel like I'm also getting curved. I'm starting to feel like, damn, like you won't even give me a little bit of a shot. But like he doesn't know, so he's blowing up her phone the whole time. Now when he goes back to his inbox to reset before he messages her again, because if she doesn't respond right away, he follows up. He's trying to get something set up for after the show. It's a Saturday night. He's at a Pinkpantheress concert for some fucking reason that is unknown to me because it did not seem like he wanted to be there. He's got to get something going for after. And when he goes back to his inbox, nothing but a ton, straight up just girl stories that he's replied to that have not answered him. Mind you, we're together for like almost 2 hours in total between like the opener and like everything. Nobody responds except for this one girl. This is his lifeline. This is his call a friend. This is all he's got. So I wouldn't say that I was rooting for him. It was actually the opposite. I'm actually rooting for her, and I'm hoping that she does not respond because this guy is just shooting his shot all over the place. Just shooting all over. It's nasty. It's gluttonous. It's just unnecessary. Guy on the left, I don't know. I don't want to put words in his mouth. I don't know what he was feeling, but to me it seemed like he maybe was feeling a little neglected. And there's even a point where he goes to the bathroom. He doesn't even let his friend know. You know, they're not speaking. I tell you, they are not speaking. I mean, the only time they spoke to each other was to whisper about how hard we were laughing behind them, which I don't think that they were aware of the fact that we were looking at their phones, even though we were talking about it. You know, we were not whispering, but the only time was, I think, because we were making those like, computer, give this guy like a slippery, nutty asshole or whatever the fuck. We were like making those jokes. And then they started whispering. For a brief moment, we got them to interact with each other. And that was kind of beautiful. But then they go back to not talking at all. His friend goes to the bathroom. Guy on the right has the nerve to look around like, where did he go? Wouldn't you like to know? I know where he went. He went to the bathroom. You don't know, and that's your friend that you came here with. What a shame. Then Pinkpantheress comes on. She gives a great show. Love her. It's so fun going to a show where you know the whole discography, like where you know every single song. Can I say the words to every single song? Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. Is that a requirement? Can I be here even though I can't say the lyrics out loud? I know them. I have like a Genius tab open in my head. Can I say them out loud? Not all of them. No. There are only certain songs. And then it's like the other ones, I listen to these songs getting ready. I listen to these songs going out. I listen to these songs before bed. I listen to them to like wake up in the morning. And I know the lyrics. and I cannot say them out loud. Sorry. You're just going to have to take my word for it that I know. I know, and I know why I'm here. I know why this is exciting for me. The guys in front of us, so everybody's standing. That's the only way you can really see anyway. Everybody's standing. They stand. Pink comes out. That's my Pledge of Allegiance. And the only time, first of all, he's one of those people, like both of them, but especially guy on the right. I would say guy on the left leaned into the experience a little bit more than guy on the right. Guy on the right, like I said, he's more evil. He's watching like the whole thing through his phone, just recording the whole time. He's even getting funky with the filters. Now he's watching the concert through his phone, but he's got a filter on it that makes it look like an old VHS tape. Very interesting. First thing I've really thought was interesting about him specifically so far. So it's only the TikTok songs. It's only the like, my name is Pink and it's very nice to meet you. Like that, like anything that had like a dance to it or a trend or like whatever, or that you might have just heard on TikTok. Cause she's got a lot of those. Pinkpantheress is an artist that like you'll know her music without ever having to like go looking for it. Cause she's that like kind of popular right now. That's the only time he stands and watches any part of the concert is to record. And it's only the songs that you would know through TikTok. So, I even tried to come up with a little bit of a narrative in my head where I was like, well, maybe he's like here, like recording this for somebody or something, like someone that couldn't make it. And I don't think so. I took it back. I took that back. I don't think that was his intention. I don't know if he got those tickets for free. I don't know why these guys were there. They didn't seem to be having fun. Who am I to say how you should behave at a concert, right? I would think you should at least want to be there. You don't have to know every song to go see an artist live. That's not a requirement at all. You can even just know the TikTok songs. That's completely fine. It's that in between with the ones that he didn't know, he sat down. Both of them did. Guy on the left lingered a little bit, standing up, but guy on the right immediately would sit down if he didn't know the song. Anything that's later than like 2 years ago, he didn't know. And he would sit down and just go back to scrolling on Instagram, which is just go home. It's okay. Go home. I know you want the girls to know that you were here. One video will suffice, and then you can go. If you don't want to be here, you can go. And he can't see the fucking stage if he's sitting because there's a couple right in front of him. It's completely blocked off. If you weren't standing, you really couldn't see. Just trying to set something up. And then other than that, it's like he wasn't interested in anything he was following. And then the funny part is like you followed it. So you actually choose who you follow on social media. So if you're following a bunch of people and none of them are interesting to you, you got to go through and clean house. I always think it's fun when somebody posts something about how they're going on an unfollowing spree. That's a little throwback. That's like very early Facebook days when they would be like, I just cleaned out my friends list. So if you're here, you're special. And I actually would feel special. I'm not going to lie. I would be like, okay, I made it. I made the cut. It's nice to feel wanted. So, but if you're following that many people and not a single fucking story catches your eye until you see somebody shaking ass, you gotta restructure it. You know, something should be interesting to you out of all those scrolls. Maybe just follow more people that shake ass. I don't know. But follow more people who are posting content like that. But like you couldn't find a single other thing to just take a moment with it. I don't know. So they left pretty quickly after it was done. There was a little bit of an encore. They were not sticking around for that. I hope they got those tickets for free, if anything. So it's just like, yeah, what else was there to do? But no way he fucked that night. No way it was with Hamster Girl. Biscotti looks so majestic right now. He's like laying directly in the sun. I wish I could show you. But I did find out something very shocking this past week. He had to go to the doctor because we thought he either cut himself or something was going on with his eye. They ended up giving like steroid eye drops and he's doing better. His eye is fine now. It's like pretty much completely cleared up. But when we first took him to the vet, when we found him as a stray, they told us he's about a year, maybe a little bit older. We're like, okay, he's a very young cat. And it made sense because he was so thin at the time that it seemed like over the months, like he was growing, like in size, like the way a young cat would get bigger, not just getting bigger because he was fucking emaciated when we found him. Nope, went to the vet again, and they told us that judging by his teeth, which I actually don't know how the first vet figured out, like was determining his age now that I'm thinking about it. But they said based on his teeth, he's anywhere from 4 to 10 years old. And that kind of rocked me. I'm not going to lie. That really rocked me this week because it just felt like you think one thing, I'm like, okay, well, yeah, it makes sense. He got bigger, you know, as he got healthier. And then it just felt like I was suddenly like robbed of all these years with him. And it really took a toll on me. So, that was hard and weird because it's like I'm never going to know exactly how old he is. I wouldn't care. I wouldn't care when I found him if he was fucking 15 years old. I would have had him spend the last little bit of his life with us. And cats can live to like 20. We had a cat when I was growing up that lived to be about 20 years old. Like she lived a very long time. She outlived all of her kids. And the good thing is like Biscotti's never going to die. Like that's never going to happen. So very thankful for that. Very thankful that no one I know or love or care about is ever going to pass. So that's a blessing. Nothing bad is ever going to happen to me or anybody that I love. Those are my affirmations in the mirror every morning. Nothing bad is ever going to happen. Nothing bad is ever going to happen. So when something bad does happen, it's kind of like, right, but that's not what I've been attracting. So it's not really like, that wasn't really supposed to happen. It's not in the plan. But yeah, that was weird, but he's still a kitten to me. With my cats, when I was growing up, I had 6 cats growing up. It was the mom cat, Trouble, and then her 5 kids. And it was like I grew up with them because I was only 5 when they were born. So it felt more like they were like a sibling or just like a part of the family. And with Biscotti, this is the first time a cat has felt like my child. Like I remember when you were in my womb. Like I can go back to that feeling. I can access that feeling whenever I want. That feeling of like, oh my God, 8 months. Like I'm so excited. That's my fucking baby. I wouldn't care if he was older than me. It'd be weird, but that would still be my child. Okay, so I probably should have mentioned this in that episode where I was kind of just complaining about whatever TikTok bullshit was annoying me that week, like whatever was just irritating me, because this was one of the things. This is one of the TikTok things, but I forgot. Thankfully, I was reminded when I got an almost identical video on my feed today to the one that pissed me off initially. ASMR, not my thing. I get why people like it. 100%, I get the appeal. I get why people are into it. That being said, where are my squelchers at? Where are they at? Because I know the crunch community, okay? I'm familiar with the slurpers. They love a good soup. Oh, okay. Commenting, can you eat more ramen? I love when you eat ramen. And of course, I know the squirters. I'm down with the squirters. Can't forget them. But where are the squelchers at? Because I see people making content for you, but where is the squelching community? You know, I'm seeing people eat pasta covered in Greek yogurt, and they've got the DJI mic clipped right on the collar, right there. So they're picking up everything. They're chewing. It sounds wet. It sounds like a boot stuck in the mud, you know, when you really got to like pull your foot back to get it loose, and it kind of like sucks you in a little bit. Just a gorgeous sound, a beautiful, rich, squelching sound. And they're watching this footage back before they post it. They're like, okay, perfect. The audio is peaking. The squelch is nice and loud. You can really hear me chewing this wet and squishy food. And you're getting that. You're getting the wet and you're getting the squishy. And then they're posting it. And the comments are, I hate this sound. I don't like when people eat their food like this. Like, why are you chewing like that? Well, somebody requested this song. It's for somebody out there. The Squelchers. You guys got to make your presence known. You really got to get up there in the comments and go, no, you know what? This is for me. This is for me. They posted this for me. I love a squelch. I can get into a squelch. And this content makes me happy because it has to bring joy to somebody. Is it all just rage bait? Is it possible that the person making it, squelching into the mic, is doing it for themselves? They're not even doing it for other people. They're doing it for the sake of the squelch, for themselves to listen back to later and go, that was some good Greek yogurt pasta. And they're reliving the experience through the sound. It's for somebody. I would love to know who. You got to get up there because you got to start getting to the top comments and make it known that there's somebody out there that likes this, because a lot of people are doing it. I'm hearing squelching from a Chipotle burrito, and it's purely just because of how close the mic is to their mouth when they're chewing it. I personally can't take it because all I can think about when I hear that kind of sound is how what I'm hearing is the sound of their saliva mixing with the food. When you get a crunch, somebody bites into something, gives it a crunch, it's the sound of like the initial bite that you're hearing. I don't really care for the chew. The chew is like, it's not just the food itself and the sound that it makes, it's that sound with your saliva. Do you know what I mean? You understand what I'm saying? Don't like that. I don't want to hear it being broken down so that it's digestible. I just don't want to hear that. But I'm also a little weird with stuff like that. Like, I don't like if somebody takes a bite of something and they turn it around and they show you the bite. Because what if I can see your saliva? I don't like that. That's not as big of a deal. I would say squelching is a far worse offense to me, not to their community, not for the squelchers, but for me, squelching is much worse than like taking a bite of something and turning it around. I just don't like the possibility of seeing like a string of saliva. That's going to ruin things for me. And then I'm going to close the app because that is what I do. When people are like, if you don't like it, scroll. I'll do you one better. I'll close the whole fucking thing. You've really irked me. I'll close the whole fucking app. I will put my phone face down on the bed and I'll go take a shower. I won't come back to it for an hour. That's what I'll do. Okay, I don't have a transition for this. I almost never have a transition for everything I want to talk about. So I'm just going to start talking about a new thing. But that is kind of the theme today, is talking. On this podcast, we like to talk. That's just something we do here. Who's watching Euphoria? I've been watching this recent season. I'd like to know people's thoughts on it. I get the general consensus. And I think because everyone kind of has a bad taste in their mouth about Sam Levinson, for good reason, myself included, everybody was kind of just ready to go at it this season. It could have been significantly better. And I think we still would have been tearing it apart because now it's kind of fun to do like a half invested in the storylines, half this is fucking ridiculous and I kind of hate watching it. 1 foot in, 1 foot out. So the storyline I'm the most invested in is Rue. I think the whole thing with Alamo is so fun. Like, that's the part that I'm looking forward to every week, is seeing what happens with that. With Maddie, I'm a little confused on where things are going to go. I think people are kind of taken aback by her decision making this season, but I'm like, that's kind of the point of the whole show. It's not for them all to be good people. It's like they're making kind of crazy decisions or poor decisions, as people tend to do, but like on a grander scale because it's a dramatic show. Everybody being involved in sex work to some degree is kind of ridiculous, but like if we were to go along with like the Euphoria high jokes where they were like going to school in pasties and stuff, and like wherever they live, maybe this would just be the route that these people would take. Maybe they would go to a high school reunion and everybody has an OnlyFans. I mean, I expect the show to be over the top. I expect the nudity. None of that is really shocking to me. It's not interesting to me either. Like, we had a whole fucking montage of penises in season 1? Like, none of that is anything to me. Sydney Sweeney and all of her nudity, I'm just like, I feel like I can see the checklist full of different fetishes that Sam is trying to check off, and I'm watching him tick each box. It's almost impressive the way that he is finding an excuse to write these different fetishes in. So it doesn't add to anything. Does it take away? For me personally, not really. It just, again, doesn't fucking do anything. Just feels like time that could have been spent on anything else. Anything else than Sydney Sweeney being a giant woman and pushing her tits into the windows of a building. Not for me in particular, but we also know who it is for. We know exactly who that is for. If Sam Levinson were to link up with the team that comes up with the challenges on Love Island, they would create the horniest television ever made. There would be no fetish left unturned. I don't even know if HBO would touch it. I don't know who would go near that. Like, you had them do what? They all stood in a line together and exchanged one fluid from one mouth to the other until at the very end they spit it into one cup. Okay. That's not bad. You covered them in a mysterious goo and had them lay on their backs on a vibrating plate while they're in a bikini. If you got some plastic wrap involved in that, if you could just get some cling wrap in the mix, you had them what? They were in little tiny bunny costumes, riding around on a tricycle and reaching up and biting a carrot that was dangling above them. That's good stuff. That's good TV. Yeah. I'm thinking, what if the girls have to fill up their boys' inflatable latex suit with the most farts to win a night in the Hideaway? I'm telling you right now, you got to hit the fart suit community. You hit the fart suit community, you've got loyal fans for life. They will be tuned the fuck in. And nobody's really hitting that demographic. The challenges on Love Island used to be really crazy. I mean, the heart rate challenge in the US is pretty wild. Like, they're doing actual lap dances and not just like a little two-step and a little like shake of the hips like they do in the UK. Some people in the UK do a lot more than others, but in general, it's like the guys are sitting on a folding chair and the girls are just like taking a feather and like tickling them with it. And then the US, they're doing a split on it. So, and whatever the fuck Huda did. Like actually twerking on somebody's face. So it's very different. But the farther back you go with Love Island UK, the challenges used to be a lot crazier. They used to be fucking nasty. They're still kind of out there, but like they used to be really like, this is very obviously for some kind of fetish, especially with the food stuff. The food stuff is like good for a giggle if it's like one thing. They have them going back and forth, exchanging every fucking kind of fluid, every kind of food. On every season, you're going to have like that one person who like, they announce that they're sick. They're like, they don't feel well enough to do whatever that challenge is. That would be me. Real as fuck. I'm not doing that. There is one more thing I wanted to talk about because it is currently happening. Are you guys up to date on the whole James Charles drama right now? And if so, I'm very sorry because you're probably seeing a lot of it and I'm going to add to it right now. If you're not familiar, here's like a brief overview. James Charles makes a TikTok where he's making fun of people who DM him links to like their GoFundMes or ask for help financially. And he says he's inundated with these DMs. He gets them constantly, like hundreds of them a day. And he is making fun of specifically a woman who had DM'd him a GoFundMe link and explained that she just lost her job at Spirit Airlines, which he probably thought was funny. The only reason I can think why he pointed that one out, he probably thought it was funny because it's Spirit Airlines and people make memes about Spirit Airlines and he is out of touch with everything. So he probably thought, Well, Spirit Airlines is a meme. Like, they fucking pointed that out specifically. But he didn't make up a joke. He didn't like make up a reference to a DM that didn't exist as an example. He like was talking about a specific person, and he's making fun of it, saying, go get a job. In the time it took for you to send this DM to me, you could have gone to get a job. So we'll do the math on that in a second. He ended up making an apology because that's what he does. He just apologizes. And it's like, genuinely, who gives a fuck about the apology? You may as well just skip that part. Just keep doing what you're doing. It does not matter anymore. Once you've apologized so many times over the course of your career, we don't care. Who cares? Who's like, well, this time he seems for real. I don't know. There was a little something in his eye. I feel like he's really sorry this time. He's apologized so many times for so many things, like talking to minors, which would be the thing that stands out in my mind the most. But he apologized. Jackie Aina also made a TikTok tearing him up, absolutely destroying him and humiliating him. So that probably put a little pressure on the situation, I would think, and brought a lot more attention to it too. And after this apology, like, he's also still kind of going, like, making fun of people who were discussing it, like having a conversation about it. So he's kind of like doubling down in a way. The whole thing's insane. So when James Charles decided to make a video making fun of a woman who had just lost her job and decided to send a GoFundMe link, what did he think the feedback was going to be like? Because when you post a video, you kind of think about it for even just a second. Even if you're a post and go kind of person, you still, for a moment, would consider how you think people are going to react to it. And I just wonder if he genuinely thought that we were going to be like, us poors are the worst. I'm so sorry you have to go through that. You probably get so many DMs in a day. That sounds so exhausting. Can you post a cover of Midnight Sun? Geez, James, we don't deserve you. Seriously, all you do is give and all we do is take. Complaining about people reaching out to you for aid because you have a lot of money and they don't couldn't be less relatable for the average person. But this is just a glimpse into the kind of struggles that he has to deal with on a regular basis. Okay? Imagine this. You're trying to go through your DMs. You already have to squint really hard at the thumbnails to try to make sure the person whose DM you're going to open is pretty young. You know, some might say within a certain age range, maybe under 18. And it's going to hurt your eyes. You squint for so long at people's profile pictures, it's going to start to strain your eyes. And then in between all of these DMs, you have a bunch of people who are like, my mom has cancer. My cat is dying. I just lost my job. Like, go get a job. Like, literally just go to wherever people get jobs. If it's a place that you go to or like a thing, like, just go, you just have to go and get one, because it literally takes the same amount of time to DM asking for help that it does to get a job. They take the same amount of time. It takes about 10 seconds to send a message to James Charles. It takes about 10 seconds to go outside and get a job. Honestly, it's harder to not get a job. Every place I go into, we're hiring. Do you need a job? Do you need some money? Relax. I have a job. I've got it covered. Okay? You just go into a place where people work and then it's like, just start working. It actually is that fast. 10 seconds if you live right next to a place. 10 seconds if you're like really close to a CVS. Okay? Not that fucking hard. It's like if you're at a point in your life where you have to make a GoFundMe in the first place, you could have thousands of DMs in your inbox. Like, shit could always be worse. You're making a GoFundMe? Oh, you lost your job? you could literally have like so many DMs to go through. Yeah, good luck finding somebody to Snapchat with who may or may not be of legal age when you have to go through that many DMs of people who are having real life problems. To me, it's like, what's the harm in asking? And what's the harm in scrolling past? You scroll through so many DMs, you get hundreds of DMs. Shouldn't you just like already kind of know what it looks like when somebody's going to send you a GoFundMe link? Why does that bother you personally? He's like, oh, they're treating me like I'm their personal ATM. They're not, because they're asking, not telling, and they have no access to you and your money. So whether or not you even see that message in the first place is like, think about where you have to be, the kind of stress that you have to be under to be in a position where you're just like, fuck it. The worst they could say is no. Let me just see if anybody would help me. You know, people who like it wouldn't make a dent in their bank account to help out in some way, shape, or form. People who could get $20 and that could really like make or break their week when it comes to groceries. People who have things that are going to be taken away from them. Just fucking like, oh my God, I don't know how he got away with messaging minors in the first place. No way that eyeshadow palette is that good. And there are a lot of people talking about the rage bait aspect of this. Like he's doing this to try to like, you know, get more sales or whatever. I said this a couple episodes ago. I still don't understand it. I get the idea that talking about somebody will make anything attached to their name, you know, get more attention, including his makeup brand. Why would that make them buy it though? Who would get so annoyed, like so pissed off that they would buy his eyeshadow palette? They're so fucking frustrated. Like it's just so out of touch that the only thing they can think to do is go and buy something from his brand. I don't care. I don't care how fucking pigmented that eyeshadow is. There's an equivalent for it. Probably a cheaper one too. I don't give a fuck how good those products are. There's a product just as good. It can't make it worth it to support this man, because he's going to be rich probably forever, or he's at least going to have money. He's going to have what when I think of money, I think like he's never going to be afraid of something being taken away from him. Not really. He might have to downsize where he lives or get like sell a car or whatever, but he's never going to know struggle, most likely. The only way that you could really hurt somebody like that is by not buying their shit. The only way you can really boycott that kind of person is with your dollar. You know who he was counting on? The devil's advocates and the contrarians. His dark army. When your back's up against the wall and you are wrong, you're wrong, and the general consensus is you shouldn't have done that. That was bad. Who is going to come and save you? Who's going to try to come to your aid? The contrarians. The devil's advocates are going to go, I don't know, he's kind of real for that. Wait, why did this make me like him even more? There's two kinds of people here. Like who he's trying to appeal to is those people who are just going to say the opposite of what everybody else is saying because they're different. They're different. They're a different breed. And then there's the people who are going to genuinely fall for it and think that he's like being silly. It's like the same people who, if someone makes fun of themselves, even if they have a long history of being terrible or racist or whatever the fuck, if they make a video being silly and like making fun of themselves, these will be the people who comment like, wait, why is he kind of funny though? Hold on. Why am I kind of liking James Charles? That's what he's counting on with these kinds of posts, like making fun of himself for posting the like, hello with the Coca-Cola. He's looking for those kinds of people, the people who are going to be like, hold on, this is actually really funny. It's not. I can't change your mind about that. I'm just telling you, it's not that funny. That's not. Especially not funny enough to like change your mind about somebody that drastically. It's like people were doing that with what the fuck is his name? Clip Vicular. He had the Whoa Vicky stream where they're like together and people are like, wait, why am I kind of shipping them right now? I kind of find him funny. you're seeing 10 seconds of interaction in which he's not even being nice to her. I kept seeing comments like that on that clip where he's like, if only I had met you a couple years ago. It's like he's not actually being nice. That's backhanded. Things like that make me feel a little bit crazy, a little bit like something went wrong with my algorithm personally. I don't want to see this. It's not that I don't want to know what's going on, but I really don't want to see people responding like that. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see how easily people are swayed by a 10-second fucking clip where they think he's being nice to a woman. And he's not. And that whole thing was weird, that whole stream. But these are the people that he's banking on, that James Charles is banking on. The people who can be swayed very easily. And he thinks that, making a little joke, and he brought up Spirit Airlines, and everybody makes fun of Spirit Airlines. That was going to get somebody, I don't know, that cosplaying as like someone's rich, mean aunt is going to like draw in some young Gen Z crowd. There's no eye palette in the world that could make me support that person, that could make me support him. I don't care. He doesn't even have a product so revolutionary that it makes any sense to buy anything he ever puts out. This man is not Pat McGrath. I don't give a fuck how blue that blue eyeshadow is. Hit him where it hurts. He's on TikTok going, yes, I am out of touch. And, all these things you guys said are true. And I'm sorry. If the things that were said about him are true, why would the apology matter? Can he actually just go away this time? He'll still have his hands in a bunch of other shit, but like maybe things that we don't see. Maybe we don't need to hear from fucking James Charles anymore. And now we find ourselves at the end of the episode. Thank you for listening. I don't normally ask this, but figured why not put it out there? If you enjoyed this episode, or if you didn't, and maybe you're like, this one wasn't for me, but I did like this other one, maybe consider leaving a rating on Spotify. That helps me out a lot. It helps other people find the show, which makes me feel better about talking to a camera on my bedroom floor, because if there's only 10 of us, it's a little weird, because like, what am I doing? If there's 20 of us, okay, I can work with that. 10 of us is like, let's just get together. Just come over, let's just get into like a Discord chat and like, let's just fucking meet up. Let's go get dinner at this point. Thank you. Love you. Bye.